Welcome back to the shop. All right, today we are working on a 2005 Subaru Forester. This car came in with a roaring wheel bearing from the rear. Diagnosed it probably about 6 weeks ago. The left rear wheel bearing and hub assembly needs to be replaced. The wheel bearing is shot. The car needs some other stuff, or we're going to do some other repairs in the future on it, some CV axles and stuff. But this side we're doing the wheel bearing on is actually the only one that does not have a CV axle boot torn. So they're going to do it in stages. We're going to start with the wheel bearing and hub assembly today, and they'll come back at a later date as time and things permit for them to come back and do the further repairs. So we'll get started on the old Subaru. Well, I thought I was recording. I took the two 14 millimeters out that holds the caliper on. I slid the whole caliper off the rotor with pads and everything in it. Just going to set it back here for now. Slid the rotor off, laid it on the floor. Now I got to get that hub nut off. All right, 32 millimeter on the hub nut. All right, we're going to take this bolt out. It's a 19. It goes all the way through this bottom, holds these trailing arms, I guess you call it. There's two. It goes all the way through. Got a 19 wrench on this side, 19 on this side. Everybody says it's really hard to get this bolt out. I haven't done one of these, so we're about to find out. I did pre-spray it with PB Blaster. Yeah, it ain't hard to get out. Don't be scared of it. Maybe these cars that sit up north a lot and pack a lot of rust and stuff in there might have trouble. Oops, a washer. Is it gonna come back to me? Oh, it's gonna be like a boomerang. Come all the way back around. All right. Oops. Hey, now. All right. So bolt. Now I'll be able to slide my axle out. Let's pay attention to our caliper real quick. Don't go flopping it around. Axle's got to come out. You got to be able to press the bearing in the hub. Okay. Now I gotta snatch this hub out. Now you can really hear it. Hear that bearing? Yeah, shot. But this axle is the only one on the car that doesn't have a rip boot, so we're not changing this one. All right, well, that went a lot smoother than I thought. I heard some horror stories about getting that thing out of there, people beating on it for hours and hours. There's an open spot in the back of the spindle, and you can really get some lube shot up in there. You just take some PB Blaster, some good rust penetrant, soak that down real good, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then try to take that out of there. A little lube goes a long way, especially with an older car. It's a good time to look at the parking brakes. They look fine. All right, so we gotta get this out. We gotta get the tone ring off the back, so it's gotta get bolted on to this is the ABS tone ring. That's gonna get bolted onto the new hub. All right. There's two seals in the back side. The first one you're gonna come to is this one. They're in there like this, just like this, stacked on top of each other. So the first one you pop out is this one, boop, and the second one you reach in there and grab is this one, boop. All right, how I did it without tearing them up, is a seal puller. If you don't own one, get one. They're cheap. You just reach in there and hook it, and it just pops right out, nice and easy. All right, now we're gonna try to snatch our hub out of the bearing. So we got a slide hammer. My attachment's too big for this bolt pattern for this wheel, so I only got one on there. I'm gonna see if this will work. I should have did it before I unbolted everything. That's all right. Tell if it's moving. I have to slide that bolt back through there. All right, so I slid that back in and maybe take some of the shock load out. And this hit the ground. I couldn't figure out where it came from. It came out of the handle of this joker here. Slide hammer. It's starting to come. I've been pounding on this thing for a while. Oh, there it goes. Man, that's not fun. That's a job right there. That is a job. Okay, so we got the bearing, or we got the hub out, and the bearings pretty much fell apart. I tried popping it with an air hammer a couple times just to see if I could shoot the race out, but that wasn't happening. This retaining clip is in this groove right here at the end. Basically, that keeps the bearing from coming too far this way when you're pushing it back in. But I got to pop it out to get my tool in to push that bearing race out. I'm going to show you some of the tools we're using. I haven't priced any of these tools in years, so I've had this stuff for a long time because I had a full service shop for a long time. You know, one thing that we're using is an OTC slide hammer, which comes in a kit like this, and you can get attachments for it, which I've got some vice grips, fingers, and CV axle cup, which is usually too big for anything. And then we got this OTC hub grappler. And I've heard you can buy this stuff at like Harbor Freight cheap. Just gotta be careful with anything you're putting a lot of pressure on, pullers and whatnot with the real cheap stuff, because you don't want that stuff breaking while it's under a high load. But you know, I've heard that you can get that kind of stuff real cheap there. I haven't had to shop for it in years. I don't hardly even use this stuff. Maybe once or twice a year, I'll break some of this stuff out. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But we're going to use some of these pieces to suck that bearing in and out. So we're going to try to get that race out by using these pieces. The bearing comes out the front side, not the back side. That clip I took out holds it in. It doesn't hold it from going through like I thought. Alright, sounds like that's a dead end road right there. Let's back it out and see what it looks like. Alright, I must have bottomed out in the cup. She's pretty far out. Alright, I might Might be able to drive it out now with air hammer. So I'll take my air hammer from the back side and see if I can't drive that out. Goes. There she goes, right there. There she blows. All right, clean it up. Got to get the hub switched over. Got to get the tone ring off this one and put it on the other one. I've got the new hub in the freezer. We'll install the bearing. I may go ahead and install that tone ring and put it back in the freezer. I'll let that thing be shrinking down. I mean, it might work a little bit if we do all we can to help the process press along. All right, we'll pop these Allens out. They are 5mm Allens, Allen head bolts. Okay, let's grab the other hub. She's cold. We got 5 holes. Got 5 bolt holes in the tone wheel, 4 in the hub. That makes sense. What is that, the accountants pinching pennies? I don't drill that extra hole, it takes too much time. That extra bolt we save. Alright. Shut up, Mr. Air Hose. Back in the freezer she goes. Alright, have the bearing in the freezer. Get set up here with the right adapters, according to the book this time. Right? Alright. I think we got it up, lined up right. Some bearings you got to be careful because there'll be a magnetic strip that reads the ABS sensor. You got to worry about these, but want you to get the rest of the bearing in. The adapter, they told me it flushes it, but it doesn't suck it in far enough to get my snap ring in, so I had to pick the right size. Not to suck it in just a little bit more. I believe the ring will go in now. Still recording? Yeah, still recording. It wasn't too bad. I've done worse. I'm going to pack some grease on that roller. It comes greased, but I'm going to put some more in there. I'm going to pack as much as I can right in there and in the back side. And then I probably should have packed it before I pushed it in, but it had grease in it. It came with grease in it. This thing's been in the freezer for just a little while now. And we're gonna load this thing in like the book says. Get that race pressed up on the backside. It's not tight enough. That feels good. I had to flip those. Well, I'll wait till the compressor's over. According to the directions, if I went by the directions in that Hub Grapple book, it had me running too big of a spacer. So I couldn't get the hub all the way in to the second part of the race. There's like two internal pieces that are separate from one another. I don't know why, but so to get it to go flush with the second one, I had to flip it around and go with the smallest one I had, but it finally worked and it tightened up. And the hub is because the way I did it with the way, according to the book, it left the hub sloppy. And I was like, well, maybe you stick the axle in and tighten the nut down and it'll pull it the rest of the way in. And it may have, because that's going to push on that, but I wasn't going to take that chance. I want it installed before I start putting the axle back in. I mean, I know what it's supposed to feel like, and that's exactly what it's supposed to feel like. Remember the noise before? Gone. Nice and quiet, nice and smooth. I'm going to put the axle back in, put the rotor back on, the caliper. Go take this thing for a test drive. Hey guys, I'm going to wrap this one up on this one. It's going to go long if I don't, and it's getting late in the day. I've got to knock this thing out. Hey, we're going to the Southern Nationals tomorrow, the last one for the Atlanta Atlanta Dragway, excuse me. I grew up going to this drag strip out in Commerce, Georgia. It's called the Atlanta Dragway, but it's way outside of Atlanta. It's way north of Atlanta, probably an hour and a half north of Atlanta with traffic maybe too. So we live on the north side too, but on opposite ends. Like the dragway's over here, we're over here, so I got to cut across. It's closer to South Carolina than it is to Atlanta. But anyway, if you're familiar with it, you know what I'm talking about. This is the last Southern Nationals, last NHRA Top Fuel race. Last chance you'll get to see the dragsters, the funny cars. I don't know if this will be the last Pro Mod race there or not, but it's the last NHRA event that I know of. They've sold the property to my understanding, and they're going to build a subdivision or a business complex or something. I don't know. They're going to build something there. Shame. Another drag strip bites the dust in Georgia. Hate seeing them go away, even though I didn't really like going to that place that much with our type stuff. But it is a nice place to go see Top Fuel. So anyway, watch for those videos, because my young son Caleb and I are going to go out there and check that out. Jake wanted to go with us, my other son, my oldest son, but he's got baseball tournaments and it just doesn't, we can't get the schedule to mesh. I was going to take him out of school today, which is Friday, and go see qualifying, but this year they're not doing Top Fuel qualifying on Friday. I was like, what the hell? They always do Top Fuel funny car and dragsters on Friday, and you can go watch them all run instead of just the ones that, you know, didn't qualify. So I guess we'll just watch them we'll still watch them qualify tomorrow. There'll be 2 rounds of fuel cars, and then I think 2 rounds of pro mods and pro stocks and all the in between classes, sportsman classes and alcohol classes and stuff like that. So it'll be fun. Caleb's never been to a Top Fuel event, and I haven't been to one in probably 10 years. So I'm looking forward to it. He's looking forward to it. We're gonna have fun. Sorry Jake couldn't make it to this one. Maybe we'll have to go to another one in Bristol or I don't know, Gator Nationals maybe next year or something. I don't know. We'll catch another one, but it'll have to be one that we go camp to, which will probably even be more fun. So, all right, guys, we're gonna close it at this. Please hit that like button. It helps me grow the channel. If you hadn't subscribed, my left, your right corner of the screen, there's a subscription tab. All you gotta do is click on it. It'll light up, and you, bam, you're subscribed. Hit the bell notifications if you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it when it drops. Appreciate you watching. Peace.